So out on the pitch, you never know who's watching on the sidelines. There might be a scout from a pro club who's there watching, looking for the next person to offer a trial to. And you want to make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can to capture the attention of anyone who might be watching, who can give you an opportunity playing at a high level. But what can you do if you just happen to be having a bit of a quiet game and you're not getting on the ball much? Maybe you're being tightly marked and through no fault of your own, you're just not getting on the ball as much as you normally would, or you would like to demonstrate your ability to the people who are watching. So one of the really key things that scouts will look for is players with a good football brain. And you might think, how can I demonstrate that I've got a good football brain if I'm not getting on the ball much? Well, there are some things you can do in terms of utilising communication which will really help you still capture the attention of onlooking scouts, even if you're not getting on the ball much, so you can stand out and they can still notice you. So it comes down to really utilising your communication, and I've broken it down to some key things here. So really, out on the football pitch, you should be talking the entire time. I don't mean just shouting for the sake of shouting. I mean sort of channeling and using your communication in a way which is constructive to your team and your own game as well, and also demonstrates to others that you know what you're talking about. So you should always be studying your game in terms of how you can improve your performance in the role and position you're playing. So studying players who are playing at a high level, what are the things that they're doing that you can implement into your game. But also the communication is going to be really key to that. So I've broken it down here, how you can demonstrate that you've got a good football brain even if you can't get on the ball. Okay, so it's things like helping out your teammates. So every time any of your teammates gets the ball, letting them know if they've got time or not, or maybe there's a man on. Okay, telling other players, so if you know tactically what your team's supposed to be doing and where players should be positioned, and you can get other players to tuck in or move out. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be communicating with every single player that's in front of you when they get close to being on the ball. So things like tuck in, turn out as well. So it could be turn out left, turn out right, depending on where a player is approaching them to shut them down from. Always scanning as well. So even if you're not getting on the ball, you never know, you might be about to receive a pass or the ball might come your way. So you should be constantly checking your shoulders and scanning the pitch to see your options every time the ball moves, every time your team has the ball, constantly seeing how the opponents are moving and where, if you receive the ball now, where your options would be in terms of your first touch and your passing options. Onlooking scouts will pick up on things like this, and you'll stand out if you're constantly scanning and constantly communicating in these ways. Other things you can communicate in terms of your team are press and drop at the right times as well. And I've covered a man on. Moving for others is a really important one. So even if you can't get on the ball, let's say one of your teammates is on the ball and they want an option left and then they want an option right and an option further ahead of them. Okay, but there happens to be two of you who are an option on the right, but no one who's an option further up. Then you would either communicate to your team players to move right or move up, or you would do that instead. So moving in an unselfish way so that your team can keep possession and in an effective way as well, and that demonstrates that you're intelligent on and off the ball. Also got to think about intelligence in terms of in terms of when you make certain runs. So if you're really fit, there's no point in, obviously you want to use your energy in a smart and efficient way. Don't just run around like a headless chicken expecting to get the ball. Make smart runs at the right times. So that's another way you can demonstrate that you've got good game intelligence, even if you can't get on the ball as much as you like to. So yeah, constantly communicating. I would draw the line in terms of shouting. I mean, you can do some encouraging things, but if you're just constantly shouting, "Come on, boys," and things like that, then it's not that constructive. How effective is that going to be? You can do it occasionally, of course. I'm not trying to turn you into a robot, but in terms of doing that repeatedly throughout the match, instead of things like this, your teammates are probably going to start finding that a little bit annoying, and it's also wasting your energy as well, because if it's not having that big of an effect, then you're much better, preserving your energy for constructive communication like this, doing it loud and clear, so making sure that people on the sideline can actually hear you doing this and you've caught their attention that you're doing this as well. Okay, so just some tips there in terms of making sure you can still have an impact on a game, even if you're having a quiet one, in terms of getting on the ball, and always being able to capture the attention of people who are watching, so that they're watching you when you do receive the ball to see if he's a great player on the ball and he's good at all this stuff as well, then he's going to have a really good chance of progressing. He's going to be a really effective player and a good team player as well, a good player to have in the team. So yeah, some good tips there. Any questions, just let me know below, and catch you in the next video.